So in the last discourse, we covered up to the 50th verse in the 18th chapter of Ashtavakra Gita. So we'll revisit the 50th verse and start this discourse. So the 50th sloka is Svatantryat sukhamapnoti Svatantryat lavate param Svatantryat nirbhritim gachet Svatantryat paramam padam. And the meaning is Svatantryat sukham apnoti. From swatantrata or from independence or from freedom, one attains happiness. From freedom, one gets the highest. From freedom, one achieves repose. And from freedom, one achieves Paramapada or the supreme state. The next verse is Akaratritvam avokatritvam Svatmano manyate yada Tada kshina bhavantyeva Samastas chitta vrittaya. All the modifications of the mind or the chitta are indeed destroyed when a man realizes that the Atman in him is neither the doer nor the enjoyer. So one who does enjoys or suffers. One who is a karta is a bhokta. Here he is saying that I am neither the karta and hence nor the bhokta. I am neither the doer nor the enjoyer. I am a karta, I am a non-doer, and that's why I am a bhokta, I am a non-enjoyer. Akartritvam avokatritvam Svatmano manyate yada Tada kshina bhavantyeva Samastas chitta vrittaya. So here he says the chitta vrittis become kshina or thin or attenuated. And this is similar to the second sutra in the first chapter or Samadhi Pada of Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, which goes like this. Yoga's chitta vritti nirodha. Yoga is the cessation of the vrittis in the chitta, or yoga is the cessation of the modifications of the mind stuff. So here it says the same thing in a different way. Once one finds out that one is neither the karta, doer, nor the bhokta, enjoyer, or sufferer, then become attenuated or super thin the vrittis or the modifications in the chitta or the mind of that yogi or of that dhira or of that wise man or wise woman. Next verse. Uchrunkalapya kritika sthitir dhirasya rajate natu sanspriha chittasya shantir mudasya kritrima. The conduct of the wise one, which is unrestricted, shines, being spontaneous, that is, free from pretense, but not the deliberate calmness of the foolish, whose mind is attached, that is, full of desires. One who is full of desires can force a deliberate calmness, but that forced calmness, is not peace. उच्छृङ्खलाप्य कृतिका स्थितिर्धीरस्य राजते न तु संस्पृहचित्तस्य शान्तिर्मूढस्य कृत्रिमा. The conduct of the wise one, which is unrestricted, shines, being spontaneous, that is, free from pretense, but not the deliberate calmness of the foolish, whose mind is full of desires and is attached. Bilasanti mahabhogair vishanti girigauharan nirasta kalpana dhira abadha mukta buddhaya. The wise who are free from mental imagining, unbound and liberated in intellect, sometimes sport in the midst of great enjoyments, and at other times retire to the mountain caves. Bilasanti mahabhogair vishanti girigauharan nirasta kalpana dhira avadha mukta buddhaya. So their buddhi is free, their intellect is free. Abadha, they are unbound, mukta buddhaya, free intellect. Who? Those who are wise, who are free from mental imagining, who are unbound and liberated in intellect. They sometimes sport in the midst of great enjoyments. So the enjoyments, you will see that the so-called self-realized person is in the midst of great enjoyments, but he is actually liberated. Sometimes he is in the midst of great enjoyments, and at other times you can see him meditating in mountain caves. That is what this verse is saying. Vilasanti mahabhogair vishanti girigauharan nirasta kalpana dhira abadha mukta buddhaya. The wise who are free from mental imagining, unbound and liberated in intellect, sometimes sport in the midst of great enjoyments, and at other times retire to the mountain caves. Srotriyam devatam tirtham anganam bhupatim priyam drishtva sampujya dhirasya nakapi hrudi vasana nakapi hridi vasana. Whether he is honoring a Vedic scholar, or whether when one sees that a Vedic scholar is being honored, that is a Srotriya being honored, or the gods are being honored, or the holy places are being honored, or a woman is being honored, or a king is being honored, or a dear one is being honored. Drishtva sampujya dhirasya, the wise one, seeing all these, does not think or does not desire that I should be honored like that. There is no desire in his heart that I should be honored like that. I should be praised like this. I should be worshipped like this. Like who? Like a king, like a dear person, Priya, like a Angana or a woman or a lady. A lady is also worshipped in society in various ways. So, seeing that a wise man does not hanker after a similar state of honor and praise and prestige and status. That's what this verse is saying. Srotriyam devatam tirtham Anganam bhupatim priyam Drashtva sampujya dhirasya Nakapi hridi vasana. Next verse. Bhrityaihi putraihi kalatraischa Dauhitraischapi gotrajaihi Vihasya dhikrito yogi Nayati vikriting manak. The liberated yogi is not at all perturbed even when scoffed and despised by his servants, sons, wives, daughters, sons, and other relations. So, a liberated one is living in the society, living in the midst of all relations and servants and everything. And sometimes those can turn upon him or do not, and the servant may not listen to him for whatever reason. So, the wise one, when this happens, does not get perturbed or does not get angry. For example, if your son is not listening to you, you may get angry or you may not, depending on your situation and your status quo with the son. The same thing with your wife, with your daughter's son, that means your grandson. If your grandson doesn't listen to you, maybe you will do something or maybe you'll keep quiet. So here, but even if you keep quiet, what might happen is you might get upset, perturbed. So here he says, if you do not get perturbed in such a situation, then only you are a yogi, you are a liberated, wise one. Bhrityaihi putraihi kalatraischa dauhitraischapi gotrajaihi vihasya dhikrito yogi nayati vikriting manak. The liberated is not at all perturbed, even when scoffed and despised by his servants, sons, wives, daughters, sons, and other relations. Santushtopi na santushta kirnopi na chakidyate tasyascharya dasham tam tam tadrisha eva janate. Though delighted, he is not delighted. Though afflicted, he is not afflicted. Only those who are like him understand this stupendous state, this marvelous state. Though delighted, though he seems to be delighted, he is actually not delighted. Though he seems to be afflicted, he is not actually afflicted. Only those who are like him understand this stupendous state. Kartabhyataiva samsaro natam pasyanti suraya shunyakara nirakara nirvikara niramaya. Niramaya means one who is untainted. Nirvikara is immutable. Nirakara is formless. Shunyakara is of the form of Shunya or empty. And because Shunya pervades everything, you can say all pervading. So, what this sloka says, the sense of duty indeed is the mundane world. Kartavyataiva samsara. This mundane world or samsara is of the nature of kartavyata or a sense of duty. In this world where you live, you have to perform certain duties, otherwise you cannot live. But this does not seem to be the case for the wise one. This is not acknowledged by the wise one who has realized himself to be all-pervading, formless, immutable, untainted Atman or self. So he realizes that the Atman is nothing but himself or herself, and this Atman by nature is Niramaya, untainted, Nirvikara, immutable, Nirakara, formless, and Sunyakara, all pervading or of the nature of void. कर्तव्यैतैव संसारो कर्तव्यतैव संसारो न तां पश्यन्ति सूरयः शून्याकारा निराकारा निर्विकारा निरामया. The sense of duty indeed is the mundane world or samsara, but this is not acknowledged by the wise one who has realized himself as the all-pervading, formless, immutable, untainted self. Akurvarnapi sankshobhat vyagraha sarvatra mudhadhi kurvarnapi tu krityani Kusalo hi nirakulaha. The fool, even in inaction, is ever agitated by his commotion within. But the adept or the wise, even when performing his duties, indeed is unperturbed. So, in the last verse we saw that the sense of duty, which is the samsara of this world, is not actually acknowledged by the wise. So, when he is forced to do his duties, he is unperturbed because he knows that he is not really doing anything. Sukhamaste sukham shete sukhamayati yati cha Sukham vakti sukham bhukte vyavahare pishantadhi. Even in the practical affairs of life, the wise one of peaceful mind sits happily, sleeps happily, moves happily, speaks happily, and eats happily. He is always happy in every circumstance. That's what the verse is saying. Next verse, which is the 60th verse. Svabhavadyasya naivartir lokavad vyavaharinaha mahahradaivakshyobhyo gata klesha susobhate. One who, due to his inner disposition, even when engaged in practical affairs of life, does not have any distress like ordinary people. He remains unagitated like a vast lake with all his sorrows extinguished. And such a person indeed shines. Svabhavadyasya naivartir lokavad vyavaharina mahahradaivakshyobhyo gata klesha susobhate. One who, due to his inner disposition, even when engaged in practical affairs of life, does not have any distress like ordinary people. He remains unagitated like a vast lake with all its sorrows extinguished. He indeed shines. Nibritirapi mudhasya prabrittirupajayate prabritirapi dhirasya nibritti phalavagini. So this is a verse which deals with prabrutti and nibrutti. Prabrutti is engagement, and nivritti is withdrawal. Pravritti is engagement in action, and nivritti is withdrawal from action. With the fool, even withdrawal in action becomes action. With the wise, even action results in the fruit of withdrawal or inaction. Nivritirapi mudasya pravrittirupajayate pravrittirapi dhirasya nivritti phalavagini. With the fool, even withdrawal or inaction becomes action. With the wise, even action results in the fruit of withdrawal or inaction. So basically, he is not accruing any future karma. So because he is a liberated soul, whatever needs to be done, he does, but without hankering after results. So he does not accrue any karma, and as a result, there will be no rebirth for this person, for the self-realized soul. With this sloka, we will end this discourse and we will continue with verse number 62 in the next discourse.